First of all, welcome. I don't know how many people we'll have in the long run. I suspect we'll have mostly people who are new to the program this year, with a few people who are curious about some of the things that we may have changed. My name is Alan Kirshner, and I hope you've seen my name in some of my long emails. Weibel Chess has been here 27 years now at the school, which is a nice long time, and I'm still here. So I lost a lot of hair in those years, but otherwise I haven't changed. Tigran here, Darvinian, is my assistant, and he's the one I blame for my mistakes. So, stuck there. And he's also teaching an intermediate chess class on Friday for the younger intermediate students at the team. Okay. Oh boy. Skiing? Too early. Too early. Kicked your kid, right?
No, just in the backyard.
Today is a historic day. I don't know how many of you are aware of it. In 1989, Marty McFly got into his nice little DeLorean and came to the future on October 21st, 2015.
And they're flying cars and everywhere.
Yeah, they had flying cars and they had hoverboards, which Lexus produced actually. I happened to go online today to check, and they actually created a hoverboard for a commercial. However, it had to run along a magnetic line. But in any case, I decided to use that as sort of my introduction, because we are back to the future in a sense too. That we're coming from 2010, not from 1989. Some of you are not born then, I don't think, but that's all right. Let it go. In 2009, Mission San Jose Elementary School won their first nationals. And in 2010, we were boycotting, I guess that's the correct term, I don't like it, the state championships, which we did for 3 years, based upon some problems we had with the organizer at the time. And so in 2010, I said, well, if Mission San Jose can do it, well, why don't we just go, and we can, instead of going to the states, we'll go to the nationals. And much to their surprise, and to my surprise, we actually won the K3 division. We were pretty lucky. Serafina was in the group. You were in 2nd grade at the time, right? And Serafina is now in 8th grade. And she will be leaving for the Youth Worlds that are on Greece Thursday? Friday? Thursday. Friday, all right. And we had a young man who had just come to us from China, and his rating was 1900 or 1800 in 3rd grade. And so we had a great year, and we actually shared a team room with Mission San Jose. That was the last time they invited us to share a team room. I can say that. So why now? What's our future? Well, oh, by the way, we did win it again in 2012. These are the spring nationals, and there are usually over 2,000 students playing, but not in the K6 division, K3 division. They're all divided. There's about 300 in each of the sections from all over the country. However, they are usually won by New York teams. New York has a phenomenal program. They have a lot of chess there, a lot of masters, grandmasters, etc. that teach. By the way, if you're hiring a chess teacher, don't do it in New York. They're charging almost $200 an hour. So if you've got somebody working for you here, you know that the prices are nowhere near that, even though our people are just as good, just as side at that point. And we decided, we went back in 2011, and then in 2012, we had the dream team. I mean a dream team. We had Kevin Moy, who was an expert at the time, and Michael Wang, who was an expert as well. and that means they were close to being masters, 2100 in ratings, for those that are understanding ratings. Michael later became a master. Kevin has stopped playing, basically, and he's at 2180. So he never finished, and he may someday get that chess master rating, which is 2200. It was a dream team because we had two other players that were 1800, and that was just top in the country. The other teams were 200 points below us on a team average. We were losing. By the last round, I was so convinced I was lost that my tension had gone so bad that I had to go to sleep. I just couldn't handle it. All of our 4 players, which counts for a team, won their last game, tied for first place, and took the first place trophy on tie breaks. So it was very trying, to tell you the truth, for me, because, this is a sure win. It's never a sure win in chess or anything else. In 2013, we won again and placed 3rd, so we've been doing pretty well. Last year, we did not go. The teams had decent ratings, but they were not playing well. In fact, I understood that specifically. The proof came when we played in the state championship later, and we didn't win any of the top divisions at all, except for the kindergartner division. So it was a good choice. I didn't want to waste the parents' money. Last year, 2014, Mission San Jose won the Nationals again. And so this year, we're going to go back because we've got an absolutely phenomenal 6th grade team. And my intent is to repeat 2010. And that's the big goal for this year. Now, as I say, I don't know, anybody here got 6th grade kids in the Weibel program? You're 6th grade, yeah. We're lucky because Rishwick has joined us from Cupertino, and his rating at the last rating I think was 1483, but it dropped a little.
Yeah.
And we've got 4 other players over 1400, actually 5 on ratings, and we've got we had another transfer coming in from Warm Springs, who some of you may know because you were involved. They changed the district. And so part of Warm Springs now comes to Weibel, and Shen Yi, who's going to the World Youth with Serafina, has been as high as 1900, although right now she's sitting around 1800, she's dropped. We've got Zion Khan and Aaron Lee, all that are up there in the ratings. And we may move our 5th grader now, Daniel Ho, who's also been up to 1900, into the K6 division, which will give us, we only need 4, but we'll have 6 to 7 players that have a chance to get good points. So I'm looking forward to that. We've also got an extremely strong 4th, 5th grade. Combinations at the Nationals are kindergarten and 1st grade group. And we have the K3 group. And we have a K5 group, which is really 4th and 6th grade. And then kindergarten and through 6th, which is the main elementary school section. And that's K6. But generally, you don't see a lot of players in there that are not 6th graders. The K5 section was developed because many schools have gone K5 and then moved on to junior high school, so that's national level. Well, in any case, that's my big goal for the year. We are a team. We've done well. The girls' nationals will have a team there. Our strength is still with the girls, but not as strong as we've had before, so I'm not sure how we're going to do. Shen Yi is 20 days below the limit for the under 12, so we won't be able to have her in the under 12 group, as we had a really strong under 12 and won it last year. In fact, we won the under 12 3 or 4 times, I can't remember now. And the new banner should be high. Yes, we are a competitive team, and that's what I wanted to make you understand. The team this year, as you read in my newsletter, if you could read it, was very surprising this year. We've got 108 players, and last year we had about 100 players, and the year before that about 60. The club has dropped dramatically in numbers. The club had been at one point 140 players, and it's now at 88 players, I believe. So the club, which was large, I don't know, there were so many activities at Weibel this year, from robotics to programming. You know, there's a lot of choices that were not there years ago when Weibel's Chess was the only program. We are one of the, I think we're the only program though sponsored by the PTO. In other words, it's not a private group. The other groups coming in are generally fairly private and are working through their own nonprofit status. We're working through the PTO's nonprofit because, you know, I'm volunteering and have been volunteering my time over the years. But because of that, we've had to hire, we've had to hire instructors, and we're lucky. The times have changed since my boys played there in 1989 and 90. When I tried to get a coach for my son, the only coach I could find was in Berkeley, and I had to drive there for that. They didn't come to the house in those days. So yes, programs are here. Chess expanded after that time, especially when I created Success Chess. It's, I think, in every public school now in Fremont, including most of the private schools. You've got Shoreview Chess. You've got NorCal House of Chess. No other city has that kind of, you know, structure. So this is really a good area. The other good area is Cupertino for chess. They've had some good programs there, and to a large extent, Success Chess started there. I'm not sure they're still in all the programs there as well. And then, of course, there's the Berkeley group, Berkeley Chess School, that's got something like 150 schools and almost 5,000 kids playing. But they don't bring them to the tournaments, they only bring their best. And so they've only got maybe 30, 40 kids that go to the States, and maybe 3 or 4 that go to the Nationals. None of their school teams go. And the same is true for Bay Area Chess. Bay Area Chess combined with another program. They're more recent, about 2007, and at that point they have now, I think, about 70, 60 schools in basically the San Jose area and across in the East Bay. So again, we're proud to have good chess in this area, and as I said, we're lucky to have the instructors we have now. This is tragic, and some of you are aware of it from the emails. We lost one of our top instructors, an international master. He was playing chess in a Bay Area Chess adult tournament, and he had a heart attack. That was Emery Tate. And so we're covering him. I'm bringing in, again, lucky, in a few weeks, Frisco Del Rosario, who has been an instructor for many years, and he is going to, he's written 2 books as well, chess books. So he'll be able to take over as soon as his contract with another program is done. So we've been lucky. We've got 2 female masters that have taught for us, and international masters, FIDE and master, and that one of them will be back. She's in China right now, studying and riding around on a moped, I understand. We're lucky to have had her. She went to Stanford, and Tigran got her here. So she was here last year, and she'll be back again. So I think we're lucky, very lucky to have the kind of program we have. And again, I'm talking to the chess team. The chess club is another world. It's great. It's basically kids who enjoy chess, and the parents want them to play chess, but they don't want the competitive aspect. And yet the program is good. The advantage we have both in the club and the team is that we're not a revolving door program like most of those private programs. Meaning, they teach the same thing year after year. So when the kids are done that year, there's not much more they're going to get the next year because the teachers teach the same things. We're lucky in the size of the group that we can bring in instructors for every skill level, and that includes the club. So we can spread them around, we can see the growth, we can move them around from place to place. We will be going to a couple of chess tournaments this year, that I'll explain later. But what I decided to do this year was a little different in that I decided the best thing to do, since time is short, is to answer your questions. Any questions you have about the program, any questions you have about the homework, any questions you have about the assignments, any questions you have about the tournaments. So I hope you're not like my students and you don't ask questions, or you raise your hands because you want to look smart. There's something about the Weibel kids, they always raise their hand. And then when you call on them, oh, I don't know. You have that in your classroom? Same thing? Yeah, amazing. Haven't figured it out. I think it's your parents. You know, look smart, to get a better grade. Okay, I'm opening the floor to questions.
As in terms of having the kids take their sheets and go home and type it up on an Excel spreadsheet or getting in a program, we looked through it and I don't know because my son is at novice level, but is it important that he learns how to analyze, or would he be cheating by us buying that program? I don't really.
No. 2 things, okay, to touch on that. What I'd like you to do is when they put it into an Excel spreadsheet, let's say, have their chessboard there so they can move it to see if it actually works. But the nice part about the program is they're actually putting it on a chessboard. And so they're moving it around in the chessboard and they can see it. And then you can run an analysis. So they can learn from the analysis and what they did. So they've got to explain why, because the program doesn't do that. The program will give them a better move. So let's say they move d4, the program says you should have moved d4. Right from the beginning and set. And then it doesn't tell you why. So they're going to have to be creative and figure out why that move would have been better than the one they made, okay. And or their opponent. So yeah, no, I that's why I suggested it. It was selling, I think, when I first sent it out for $29. It's now $34 or something, I don't remember. But it's certainly a lot cheaper than ChessBase, which is over $100. And so I think it's good. ChessTempo.com has something similar that's online free. And the nice part for the both programs is they have it for Mac as well. The trouble with ChessBase is it's only for... Huh?
Which program did you recommend?
It's the Chess King. It's the first one. What's it called?
Standard edition.
The standard edition, yeah, the standard edition. And you can get it at the Chess Queen site. Don't ask.
So one question on the similar note.
I'm sorry?
One question, a follow-up question on that.
Sure.
Some of these younger kids, like first, second grade, or whatever the novice level, I don't think they can probably interpret that analysis result as well.
They don't have to use it at this level. Right now, all they're doing is not analyzing it. Right now, I've had them record 10 moves. Some of them don't know how to record yet. I understand that. It's going to, because we've got a lot of new students. I realize that in my class. I have a lot of students who have never been in the Weibel program. They actually never even use notation. They know the moves, they know how to play chess. We've been going through skills tests and we haven't had a chance yet to be teaching and dealing with notation. But the instructors, and I'm happy to say my kids follow it as well in the class, are teaching them how to call out moves. In other words, what we don't accept is they'll put the pawn in front of the rook. Okay, we want, rook to e7 or, e5 or whatever. We want them, when they're talking to us, to talk in the chess language. And so it will come within time. But right now, all they're doing is doing 10 moves in a full game for the novice and junior varsity. And it will not be until January that I'll have them dealing with the annotation. So they'll have a little more expense. They do not have to have the program annotate it and analyze it. They can start with the younger ones with some easy stuff. We give them out 30 rules of chess. They're also online. It can be downloaded from weibelchess.com, from .org, from the form site. For example, why did you move your pawn to the center? Because the 10 rules of opening say open with a center pawn, knights before bishops. They can use simple reasons for that as well.
He's got a question.
On the same thing, Aaron?
Why did he get a heart attack?
That's a doctor's issue. I can't answer it. It just happens sometimes for physical reasons. Yeah, that's one of the problems I'm going to have. I'm glad I'm sort of not here Friday this time. I'm going to miss. I'm not sure how you handle that with children. I actually wrote to the principal. She hasn't answered me to say if there's a Fremont policy and how you approach it, with especially kindergarten and first graders. So, do you know of any policy on it at all, Christine?
As in terms of
Huh?
as in terms of the work.
No, I'm talking about the death of a instructor, which was his basic question.
It depends. I mean, if it were me personally, I would do my best to answer it, just so it's still in pain, but keep it simple.
Yeah, I don't know, is all I can say, it was. But it was, as I say, in the middle of a tournament as such. And I did post, actually, the last game he played, an annotated game, a guy who's well known throughout the country. He was one of the first African-American international masters. He never made master, but he was a well-known instructor. Of course, he came out here and has been teaching out here. And he played blindfold on Saturday. He played 5 blindfold games to 5 people that came. And he was stressed from that. That was hard for him. He said he lost one, and he drew one, and he won the other 3. The one he drew was against Rishwick here, who actually read his analysis, right? Yeah, so he was excited in the sense that, because he went home, Emery, and he had memorized the games in his head. He remembered them, and he wrote them down, and he annotated them. Translation, he analyzed each of the games he had played blindfolded. And when I put up was, that one. Yeah. Kirshner?
So I use chess. So if you finish editing entering your rules, do we email it to you? Or do
Yeah, you can email it to me, or you bring it on Friday.
So
Either way is acceptable. Yeah, now again, we've got a problem. Hopefully it will not be for your kids since we're on the same subject right now. I did have a student last year who I looked at the game, and he was playing Paul Morphy. Now, for those who knew Paul Morphy, he played in the 19th century and he was a top American chess player, which I began to realize he couldn't have played Paul Morphy. And it was obviously a copied game that he hadn't played, what can I say? So we're going to get people who are going to go through it. I had a game that I saw immediately that made no sense. The guy that just came in the student moved his bishop 5 times, and the other person moved all his pawns forward like he was playing checkers. Okay, and I just don't think that was a real game. So if I get those kinds of things, obviously I do not have the time, neither does Tigran, to go through them all. But we will spot check, okay? And yes, we will suspend people after the first missing, and then they have to turn it in as soon as possible and have to do those games. If they take 2 weeks, they have to turn in 2 weeks. Okay, afterwards, then they could be removed from chess. Early in the program, they can be sent to the club. Later in the program, they'll be out of chess. Okay, if it continues with any of the homework assignments, because I said it is a team, we expect the program there. The club, there's no requirement. They have the same chess magnet school. They have the same homework, chesshomework.com, but they can do it there for extra credit. Okay, it's a different kind of approach. They can have the enjoyment of doing it and getting extra credit if they want. Okay? But we're not going to put that kind of pressure on, all of the children, just the ones who, hopefully your children were the ones who wanted the pressure, not you wanting it to give it to them. And I do want to say that in all sincerity, because a few years back, I did have a student whose parents forced him to come to the team, he was throwing pieces, he was a behavior problem, and I said, you really want to be here? And he said, no, my parents are making me. So I called the parents, and their comment was, no, we want him there no matter what. That's a tough one. He didn't say, but
Like the K to 3 team is nice.
I'm sorry?
K to 3.
We're in nationals?
Yeah.
I hope so. I mean, again, the varsity team is generally above 1,000, a few below it, maybe around 850. But that doesn't mean that we do not have a K3 or K1 team. We had a couple of people going in the K1 last year. Okay? So they may want to go again. In other words, in fact, Carl's here now. Carl Moy is our parent coordinator, and he wanted to say something about the nationals. Didn't you?
Yeah, it's definitely, for those people who have kids with golf, it's very exciting. This year it's going to be in Nashville, probably at the Opryland Hotel, which is, I think, the biggest hotel in the United States. It's a huge property. It's kind of a fun.
Yeah. And you go to the
atmosphere.
Grand Ole Opry, which is
Yeah.
the reason my wife came with me there.
Yeah, and it's good history for us. We won 3 years ago. We won a national
I
title there,
talked
so there's good karma going there. It's definitely fun because the kids get to meet people from all over the country, and you get the camaraderie of being, playing on a team. So where everybody's fighting for each other. So it's definitely something that should. Yeah, that definitely takes some time to arrange and enjoy the process.
Yeah, I'll talk a little more about that later, questions maybe. But
This year, I believe there's 3 years ago there wasn't any direct flights, but I did find that there is now a direct flight from Oakland. It's on Southwest. There's only one flight a day.
Southwest?
Yeah,
One flight, but it's direct.
it is direct. Yeah, hopefully their schedule only goes up to April right now, but I think it probably is
I
a year
think,
round thing.
That's a big change. Because one of the problems with Nashville was the changing of flights. All right, we're dealing with questions. We were on the homework, so are there any other questions on the homework?
Do they have to notate the games they go for other than the homework? It
tournaments?
be counted as homework.
Yeah, the tournaments.
Tournaments.
Tournament
yes.
games? No. Unless their instructor or if they got a private coach wants them to. Most of them that we've got, except for the varsity, do. I mean, that's for sure. They do it anyway. The varsity is phenomenal that way. Last year we had some special training sessions for varsity that are going to the 2 years ago for the nationals, and I guess we have to the girls' nationals. And I was taken back. I didn't have to say anything. All of them had a board individually in front of them. When the teacher was talking, they moved the pieces as the teacher said. Watch them. They were recording their moves down. So one of the things they do learn automatically, without my even having to say it, is to do. But no, the younger divisions do not. In some cases, especially the real young ones, because they get nervous about it. So it's up to you. If you want to go over the games and how to play chess, then you might have your child do it. I think it's just building. We build. We start at the base. We have a very strong reward system, which I can talk about later, but I want to deal with the questions. Okay.
So this is our first year with Weibel, and I think in the first grade, and this is the starting of the chess. And so I just wanted to know how many tournaments should they go in, and how do they build scores, and what qualifies?
Well, we've already had one young man do 17 during the summer. I'm not recommending that. His father's here tonight. We won't talk about it. But we were talking about Nico's done 17 tournaments.
Yes.
Yeah. Since June.
Then he's done for the year.
He's done for 3 years. Yeah, the more tournaments, obviously, the more experience they get. When I say, and I'll give you the answer to your question, I'm just going around it right now. When I say more experience, it's because they get used to playing their own people here. And that destroys them. In fact, the hardest thing is to keep them serious. Okay? When they go to the tournaments, it's a much more serious chess. And, you know, it also has some people who collapse. We have some very good students who really can't handle it. And sadly to say, I was that way with my own sports. I was much better in the gym than I was when I went to a tournament. My mind, you know, got nervous, okay? But, you know, there are people who do better. And and it's basically because I started late. I think when they start young, like these children, they're gonna really get the confidence of building. And like Serafina, she's, you know, as I said, was over 1,800, and for her K3 years, 600, 700, maybe 1,000, and she just kept building and developed the confidence on it. Okay, she started chess because she wanted to beat her sister. Okay, she was talking to the kids the other day, so yeah. The answer to your question directly is 6 tournaments are required, any 6 you want. Okay, and there are lots of them now. It's not hard to find. They're on, you know, Bay Area Chess is running God knows how many every weekend all over the Bay Area. So there's not a problem. And by the way, I wanted to thank all of you. Only one person is going to be suspended for not having gone to a tournament. So that's a nice number, which means of the 108, only one person did not make a tournament by October 19th. Which reminded me, I've got to send out the letter of suspension. The kindergartners did not have to go there. We're going to build, obviously, at that point. Okay. However, while there are 6 tournaments, there are some that are required. If you've got a daughter, she is required to go to their state championship on the last February in January, the last Saturday in January. Okay, that will count in the 6. Okay. Now, the top 4 in each grade with the highest ratings will be required to go to the state grade level December 6th and maybe December 7th, depending on their grade. Okay, so it's 4 people from each grade level with the top ratings will have to attend. That will not count, that state championship. And they are all required because they've got every level under the sun playing at the what we call the spring state championship, which I'm not sure is actually spring anymore, because this year it's going to be in mid-March. It's been usually in April or May. For some reason they moved it to the center of March at this point. So everybody will be required to go to that one. And that one, as I said, has divisions, novice, open, in each of the different categories that I mentioned that are like the nationals. Any other questions on the tournaments?
So right now, I mean, the kids who have joined newly to the team, they are unrated, right? I mean, so before December 17th, or whatever, how does the rating thing work? How do they get their ratings?
Well, have they gone to, they've gone to a tournament? Yeah, okay. The ratings are posted from the tournament at the United States Chess Federation site. And the way to get there is to go uschess.org/MSA. Simple enough. But, and here's where you gotta go. You'll type in your child's number or their name, and then it'll show they didn't have any rating. And that's because they change the ratings once a month on there. But there is a tab that says Tournament History, and it's sort of abbreviated TMT or something, HST. But the Tournament History tab gives you the rating after every tournament. And that may be not quite accurate, because sometimes some people turn in the ratings late, so they have to upgrade them on a Tuesday or correct them, okay? So again, the ratings are posted generally right after the tournaments now, because it's all done online. We were a little late in that, and not 3 years ago, it would have been early, but we got them in on Wednesday because somebody who does them, Prakash and Ryan, who still helps out even though his children are out of college or out of college, He does the ratings. He had a couple of projects that had come up, and so he couldn't finish them. So they did get rated on Tuesday. So anybody who was there on the 10th, their ratings are there.
If the rating after the tournament goes up from novice to JV,
They'll be moved into the JV playing area. They won't probably change teachers because the teachers are mixed, but they might depending on what the teacher thinks. In other words, and if I would ask the teachers to give me any skill levels up or down if need be. But we've got 3 groups of basically intermediate students that are more or less divided by age. And so we'll see what happens when they may be moved up at that point. Yeah, and of course, with the varsity, they do not have to come to varsity, which means they don't have to go to the nationals. Anybody who is on varsity is mandated to go to the nationals. The parents agree to that. However, they could be over 1,000 up to 1,100, and they do not have to go to the nationals if they do not want to go to varsity. If they go to varsity, they will have to. But if they're over 1,200, they can't go to Weibel Chess because we're wasting that energy at Weibel Chess. They can come to the club, I should say, but they can't go to the team. Okay. So far we've had nobody that was 1,200 that didn't want to go nationals. And the nationals are, I think, the 2nd week in May. We'll have more information out on that and have a special meeting. Call thinks we should have it in January. And while I'm talking about the nationals, you'll notice I'm wearing a maroon shirt with the Weibel logo, and everybody's only seen black. I wanted to see what it looked like on maroon. The shirts are in, I will be distributing soon. So I don't know, I was thinking maybe we'd have a special shirt for the nationals that's maroon, if it looks okay, I don't know. And it's also our school color, so maybe I'll make it maroon and silver. So, it's silver, is it silver or gray? I don't know what this name is. Yeah, so we'll go with a special shirt. Questions?
For the junior varsity kids, if they want to, could they play on extra game after 4:30?
No, the problem being the noise, to be candid. Yeah, I know it would be nice, but again, the JV team and the novice team there was a lot of them, and I'd rather they didn't, although that doesn't mean they can't get their game analyzed. If you're not aware of that, our instructors will analyze the games when they're done. With the varsity team, many of them take a long time. In fact, with the varsity team, we give them the option of going not just 45 minutes with the time delay of 5 seconds, but per player 45, so it's 90 minutes, or they can go 80 minutes delay 5, I should say 40 minutes, 80 minutes. They can go 80 minutes delay 5, which means they would adjourn the game, give me the move, I take a picture of the game, and then they can continue it the next week. Yes, they can go home, they can analyze it. Of course, they don't know the move of the next player. The player gives me that move secretly, that's the rule. And so they can analyze, both sides can analyze the game. So we give them the long time controls. The national time controls are actually 4 hours, 2 hours per player. Now that sounds like a lot, but my middle son drove me nuts. By 4th grade, at the end of 4th grade, he was playing adult tournaments, and usually they were 6 hours. And he was very conservative in his approach in what one of our teachers, Mr. Sherman, calls old man chess. He played very close games, meaning the board was full most of the game. And so at the end, with about 2 minutes left, he would wind up blitzing it out, which is fast movement. His father had a heart attack, which is not really. In any case, yeah, the time controls are longer, and that's why I generally suggest that those over around 1,400, 1,300 should start going to the longer time controls in these scholastic tournaments.
You mentioned tournaments, and the difficulty I have is to figure out which of them are good.
Yeah, Carl has just put up, I'm glad you asked the question, on our blog, the longer time controls and the ones that he thought were good. So if you go to the blog, you'll see the, what'd you call them?
Advanced tournaments.
Advanced tournaments. Advanced tournaments, okay? So we took care of that, because your wife was talking about that too. Yeah. And of course, there is a link there, and it'll take you to the scholastic tournaments, which I've been listing on Commonwealth Youth Chess.
Should we send the junior varsity kids to the Swiss, or currently I've been taking only quads?
No, you mean going to quads?
Quads. He is only going to quads, so.
Well, yeah, he should be going to Swiss, that's your choice.
What do you
Yeah,
prefer?
we were recommending a while back, but I don't think I put it there, that they go to a certain number of Swiss. Maybe it is still there, I can't remember. So yeah, we would like them to at least do the Swiss. Candidly, part of the reason is that it's a different kind of competition. And also, the ratings go up faster in the Swiss because if they're doing well, there's also bonus points. Now, again, don't get too carried away with ratings. Kids' ratings aren't necessarily very accurate. They'll go up and down very rapidly. Okay, and the point is that they tend to build over the time. So yeah, as too many people are concerned, I don't want my kid to lose points. I don't want him to go to a tournament. Please, don't worry about it. I know it's just a matter of you're having to deal with the children on that level. But, I think the parents get more concerned about that 1 point or 2 points, right, Carl?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
What is a good site online that they could play with the kids? Like I know, like I play regularly on chess.com for kids like.
Chess.com, but ICC is the best.
ICC?
Yeah, the International Chess Club, ICC.
Well, ICC is more for advanced, I would say.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, I guess it is for
Yeah.
advanced.
It's just for
But
kids.
they got all
at-
levels there.
At junior varsity, like my son is in junior varsity.
Yahoo has some good chess,
Chess
chess.com.
Chess Kids,
Chess
Chess Kids is an offshoot of Chess.com.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
one's pretty good.
yeah.
Chessity too.
What is
Yeah,
that?
Chessity.
Chessity is also one.
Chessity.
Chessity.com.
Oh, Chessity, that's new. Yeah.
CHESS.
That's been about 2 years now.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All you gotta be careful of, someone's gonna make sure they got good security controls,
Yeah.
honestly, yeah. And, you know, it may be better not to allow them to use the chatting with their players when they play. I mean, that's fun for the kids, but, you know, I just fear that, you don't know who's necessarily on the other end, as always. More questions?
I did want to make also a comment, somebody brought up tournaments. I don't know if you brought up this point. So when you're at a more advanced level, sometimes you want to be, I know how parents, they want to have convenient tournaments, and there are a lot of tournaments here in Fremont and in Milpitas. But a lot of times I find it's good to travel a little bit further away. And that's because you don't get to see the same people over and over again. Because sometimes, a lot of times I see kids won't get serious and they see the same people over and over again. They tend to relax or have a little bit too much fun. But when you go into more unfamiliar settings, I find that they get more serious.
Yeah, a lot of our, again, the top students actually travel to another state, Southern California. In the Chess Federation, Southern California is a separate state. We all feel it should be. That's beside.
But I didn't even necessarily mean go that far. I mean just like going to San Francisco for example.
Not a bit something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are certain areas like San Francisco that there are different people playing all the time. They won't come south to us because we're the Goonies. But yes, if you haven't been to the Mechanics Club, you need to take a trip there, even if the child is not playing, just to see what the 19th century chess club looked like. It's got a lot of atmosphere. How many people here have gone to the mechanics? Not many. Okay, well, just yeah, it's on Post Street.
Yeah, Post.
And-
Right by the Montgomery BART station.
On Montgomery Bus Station. They've also got an excellent library there. It's an old building, the elevator's a little scary, but otherwise, it's a very interesting place to sit. Anybody here see Pawn Structure, that Bobby Fischer built? It'll be out on video soon, but, Pawn Sacrifice, did I say Structure? Yeah, I'm thinking Pawn Structure, Pawn Sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yeah, a movie was made about his world championship in 1972 and his movement towards insanity. It didn't go beyond that, which became worse, but it definitely deals with, you know, the pressures such as can be. And by the way, they can be. My middle son won the state championship when he was in first grade. And I decided that nationals were 3 weeks later, so I was going to go take him to the nationals, since he looked to be enjoying chess and having a lot of fun with it. By the way, I didn't teach him chess, because he was the kind of kid that I can't teach. So I taught his younger brother how to play, and his younger brother taught him. You gotta work with each child separately, right? So I read this book about, from a chess player's father, called Searching for Bobby Fischer. Now, if you haven't seen that movie, it is really a great rental. It's a great family film. It's about a 6-year-old to 7-year-old and his excitement of chess, and living near Washington Square in New York Park where people play. He hung around the park with some of the hustlers of chess, that you can say. In any case, the movie was good. The book scared me. In fact, I was almost ready to pull out because the father was so over-dominating, and what he did with the child worried me. He took him around the world at 6 or 7 years old to go to all the different chess spots. He wouldn't let the kid go swimming at the nationals because it would destroy his chess. And I became very concerned about it. So again, those kinds of things you will find with some people in chess. That's not what we're about. That's not what I hope any of us are about. Okay? Chess, for most of our kids, is not going to be a career. For all of our kids, I doubt if it's going to be a career, because it's not a great career. But we haven't, you know, we've had some kids come out as chess masters out of the program, chess experts. Many of them continued it for many, many years and going fine. But it's like, you know, people getting all upset as Little League parents. You know, like their kid's going to really be a superstar baseball player because, you know, he had home run in Little League. What we're doing is with chess is a very important element because obviously they're not only improving their skills, they're improving skills in creative thinking. And that is, you know, important for creative analysis. They're learning how to sit quietly. I mean, it's amazing how many kids who have, shall we say, ants and pants, have learned to sit still and think about their games. In fact, I've had some people who, you know, have pointed out that their child's personality and studying and everything else has changed because of the chess program. So, you know, I think that's the positive level that I think most of us understand, the benefit that it's going to give to education and their education. And the studies carry through on that. All of the studies show that, you know, with control groups, that those children that play chess versus those that do not play chess will do better, not just in math and other subjects, but the one that shook me for a while and why, it took me a while to think about it, they do better on their standard reading tests. Now, why should chess have anything to do with reading? Huh? The critical thinking, yeah. They've got to critically think on those reading tests. They've got to analyze what they've been reading. That's the question. So, I mean, that's our ultimate purpose. And that's my ultimate purpose. I'm an educator. And, there's a term for my kind of chess play. It's called patsa. Patsa means, you think you're good, but you're terrible. So, again, I realize it. And it's not been a part of my life, except I started with the kids here, and as a helicopter chess parent, I stayed on, and they're gone. Nobody else has been at Weibel as long as I have, including all the teachers.
What's the movie name?
Hmm?
What's the movie name?
The movie name is Pawn Sacrifice.
What is that?
Pawn Sacrifice.
But it's not a kids movie though.
Hmm?
It's not a kids movie.
Not a good movie for kids. No, it's not good for kids. Oh, yeah, no.
Searching for
When I
Bobby
said
Fischer.
Searching for Bobby Fischer is the one for kids, thank you, yeah, make it clear. Pawn Sacrifice is not a good movie for kids. But Searching for Bobby Fischer is an outstanding family film. How many of you have seen Searching for Bobby Fischer? Okay, well, I'll look at the number of that.
Yeah, that's what
Okay, any other questions?
I think.
Anything that I haven't
One minute.
covered? Paul, anything? You weren't here at the beginning. Tigran?
Okay, now we're gonna watch a movie.
Now we're gonna watch a movie? No, we're not gonna. You can go through all things everybody hears what we have to say. I think I've summarized, most of what is going to happen with the questions, which is what I wanted to do. Okay. The first homework is due on Friday, which means we will be checking, Tigran will at some point, on Saturday to see if they've done their 30 problems or 20 problems, whichever their assignment is, on Chess Magnet School. ChessHomework.com will be sent to you. The chess homework, we can't check as easily, but what it does is it gives them extra credit points. Okay, it's from Success Chess, and it goes automatically on their point sheets. For those that have not been here before, our children will receive a point sheet each week. The question is, why do I print them out and not just send them home by email? Because the kids enjoy it. They enjoy seeing it, even if it means some of them make airplanes out of it. They get titles. They were Weibel Queen, or Chess Queen, or Chess King, or Chess Rook, or they become a Bobby Fischer, God forbid. They become a Magnus Carlsen, our world champion. And those points are based upon how they do in tournaments, their double points, how they do playing in the chess club. They get 1 point for losing, 2 points for draw, 3 points for winning. Their instructors give them points for helping or for good work in the class. They get points for the extra credit. At the end of the year, the 5 top players on the club will get, on the club and on the team, each 5 on the club, 5 on the team, will get bigger trophies. Everybody at the end of the year awards will get a trophy. I read an article, it was in the New York Times about 3 weeks ago in the magazine, about some people's attitude that giving participation awards is an ugly destruction of their success, making them feel successful so they won't work as hard. I'm sorry I don't buy into that, but I think the kids deserve it. Even if it just says you survived me, they've got something there. So they're not big, but they're at least an appreciation of what I call some positive reinforcement. And at the end of the year, we will have, the top players, the most improved with larger trophies as well. We have a level of what we call elite players. Well, first we have a level of honor roll. The honor roll is 1,000. Once they get 1,000 points on the U.S. Chess Federation rating, they will get a hat which says honor roll, Weibel Chess honor roll on the back, Weibel Chess on the front. They reach a certain level depending on their grade, they can become an elite player. The elite player will get a special sport jacket with their name on it. And Then we have only one person who's achieved it so far since I started it, the ultimate player. And the ultimate player is a player who would be in the top of the top 100 in the United States. I've set certain ratings there that are quite high, and they will get a special crystal award for that. But as I said, the only one that's gotten there so far is Oliver Wood. I mean, there were people previously, but I hadn't been given an award. So again, a certain, award basis for reinforcement from the points to the. Now, if anybody has had a child in a Success Chess program before, I will carry their points over if you let me know which school they were at, because we can move those points from those Success Chess programs. Since they have the same point system, I started it there, and we'll move them over to Weibel. Okay. Were any of your children in a Success Chess school program? Yeah, we'll get it transferred. So I've talked about the awards. Yeah, I think pretty well covered it. Any questions on the awards at all? Okay, let's go back and see if there are any final questions before we, quote unquote, have a motion for dismissal. We went through the homework, which we said again is due Friday. You can send me the homework by email for the analysis or the listing of the notation. The pet puzzles we'll be checking. We went through the tournaments. What needs to be done? Oh, yeah, let me go back. I just saw this on. And I said this and I wrote it to you, and it's online. If your child is on the junior varsity or novice team and they're doing more than 2 hours of required chess homework, meaning the puzzles, let me know. A week. I'm not talking about a day. A week. Okay, if there's a problem because they've gotten too complicated. If they're on the team, a minimum of 4 hours is what I'm saying, and that's minimum for the team work per week. In reality, they should be doing work every day for the top players. They will be doing work every day. It's just part of their love of the game of chess that they are doing. So that's another story. So yeah, I forgot to mention that. Well, I think it's 8 o'clock. I promised to get you out of here. Final questions. Anybody we dislike us ask the final question? All right, thank you for coming. You want to review anything, I will get this up online.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.